Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Core Classic Known Classic. This is episode number 1405 and double, actually 1411 and double show number 1305. I have two trades, both featuring a version of the Avengers. You'll find out what it is. Alright, first up it is Fantastic Four, Volume 3, Back in Blue. Written by James Robertson, artwork by Leonard Kirk. Yep. Leonard Kirk isn't the only artist on here. Yes, he actually does issues 11, 13, and 14. He does basically present stuff for that issue. He does not do what else is in the book. And this book collects issues Fantastic Four, Volume 5, issues 11 to 14, which is actually the end of Volume 5 because with 15 was renumbered back to 642, and the annual for this volume. Yes. Now, the manufacturing run didn't have an annual. Nope, never did. Don't know why. It's kind of weird, the fact that that one didn't. Yeah. Yeah, it's completely unknown exactly what was the reason why manufacturing never had an annual. Yeah, 14 issues and no annual. If you want to think overall how many annuals this series is published, well, prior to this one, I think the last thing came out in like 2012. Yeah, 2012 was technically the last annual published. Yeah, it was part of a crossover with a few other ones. And it wasn't even done by a regular in-book writer. No, not really. Now you might be asking, did Volume 3 have an annual? Yes, it had 3. Yes, it published annuals from 1998 to 2001. Yep, but after one, they started publishing annuals again in 2010 and 2012, and that was simply it. So, now in the case of annuals, you can kind of say, because the last annual published was annual number 33, you can kind of say this is the 34th annual. Yep. The 34th annual. Yeah. And this last annual came out roughly 6 years ago. Yep. 6 years ago. Oh, and the other artist here, I forgot to mention. It is also Tom Grimmett. He does the easy artist for the annual. Mark Lemming does the flashback issue 14. Now, as you can tell by the cover, yes, it's a return for Fantastic Four. Look closely at the logo for the Fantastic Four. Yeah, even I basically pointed this out, though. That's the same logo from the awful Fantastic Four reboot film from 2015, which just came out just prior to that. Have I seen it? No, but for some reason, my brother likes it for some reason. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. He likes that movie. It's one of the most hated movies of recent memory. Yep. So, we have some very weird things happen in this book. Like, for instance, we see that Johnny Storm is being attacked by Hawkeye. Except this isn't Hawkeye. Nope. This is actually a different Hawkeye. There's more on that. We also have Cam Hammer under attack by freaking Thor. And of course, Namor bringing up the Ghost Whispers that happened the first dog of all New Avengers. Great. Freddy's already done for that one. And they look at the door like, that's not Thor. That's a different Thor. And then, of course, we also have stuff. Now, in the case of the annual itself, that's mostly put the Invisible Woman going to Latveria to get back her 3-year-old daughter. Yep. She goes there. She really wants her back so badly. So she proceeds to beat the living bejesus out of Doctor Doom, nearly killing the man. Now, Fantastic Four are pretty much... Doctor Doom is typically referred to as Marvel's punching bag. But that's the point where one of the superheroes nearly kills him. Yeah. And Valerie says, despite the fact that she respects her mother, she's going to stay right here. She's a very stubborn little girl. And Sue is very stubborn with being a mother. And then that leads into issue number 11. Yeah, surprisingly, this annual takes place between issues 10 and 11. Yeah, you gotta have to read this annual. Look how the book itself does collect it, because of course Marvel would collect the annual, because not even Marvel would skip over an annual. But here's something unique about this annual. Yes, Robinson wrote this annual. Yes, James Robinson will go out of his way to write an annual for a book he's writing. I think, as far as I can tell, I think this is the only book he ever did an annual for. Yeah, I think this is the only one. Because, as all books did for Marvel, this is the only one he did an annual for. Not New Invaders, not Scarlet Witch, not Squadron Supreme, definitely not Cable and Nick Fury, but Fantastic Four got one. And it's been the last, and now this annual came out roughly about 7 years ago. And I'm thinking, no, why hasn't the book produced an annual? You probably think, has Dan Slott produced an annual yet? No, not really. Excuse me. When it comes to Marvel Comics and their annuals, a lot of the time the annuals are not written by the regular writers of the book. A lot of the time they bring in some other writer. A lot of the time they write these annuals. There's a couple others aside from Robinson who actually will go out of his way to write the annual for the book. Like, for example, in Hawkeye, when he had this one in the annual, that was by Matt Fraction. The annuals for Avengers and New Avengers, when Michael Bendis was writing them, he wrote the annuals for that one. I don't think New Avengers, when it was under Hickman, I don't think he did the annual for that one. Let's see. I don't think so. I know Bendis wrote pretty much most of the annuals, basically, the series put out. And the series put out a lot of annuals, a total number of, I'd say, about 5. Yeah, the last annual which came out for that book was not written by James Robinson. No, James Robinson. Jonathan Hickman. Yeah, Hickman for some reason would not write his own annuals. I don't know why, but so far as I can tell, Robinson is one of the 3 who does this, like I said. In case you're curious, though, the show write his annual for Daredevil. Yes, he did. So he's one of 4. So James Robinson, Mark Waid, Brian Michael Bendis, and Charles Shaw. Yeah, these guys will actually go out of their way to actually write the annual for the series. Never really think about Dan Slott doing that. I think he did a couple times, but I don't really remember. It's been a while since I read. So, Sue comes home, talks to Reed about what happened. She thinks that she's possessed by malice. And in the case of Ben Grimm, he's in prison, but he eventually gets out thanks to help from the Future Foundation, members. Basically, not Miss Thing for some reason. Yeah, she's not here. Just Medusa, Scott Lang Ant-Man, and She-Hulk. Yeah, they all help him break out of prison. With the help of the Sandman and Miss and She-Thing, just allows him to go his merry way. And apparently, the Fantastic Four go to their beach house in California, which, according to Ben, even he forgot about the fact that they own this place. So Sue was like, screw it, we're no longer wearing the red costumes, we're going back to the blue costumes. Yeah, I think for in-book, I think Robinson was really probably, and this is just my opinion, I don't think he liked the red costumes. No, I'm not really sure what was the purpose of the red costumes. Yeah, as far as I can tell, there was no explanation in the book of why they put on the costumes as soon as they got back to Earth from space at the end of Fractions run for the book. And then after basically having the red suits for about 12 issues, it's like, okay, let's just put on the blue suits again. Yep, I'll put on the classic suits, but with a brand new logo. Oh, and they revealed the whole thing with Hawkeye and Thor. When, of course, Reed is basically doing experiments, his assistant Cully attacks him. I'm not sure if Cully is named after Kelly Hammer, the guy who has worked with James Robertson on several books. One book in particular he's worked on with him was The Shade, the 12-issue Max series working over at DC. and they accused me of various people, including Tevlar, the lawyer who basically prosecuted them. And here's the thing. He refers himself as the Quiet Man. Yes, the Quiet Man. And he reveals his dastardly plan. Why did he want to take down the Fantastic Four? Why did he frame Ben Grimm for murder? Take away Reed Richards' children. And the Lost Shining Star's powers. The reason is because he was in love with Sue Storm. And apparently, Reed Richards had the nerve to ask her first before he did. And even he says, like, I think Reed Richards agrees with the reader. Your reasoning for this whole plan of yours is utter nonsense. All because you basically fell for my future wife. She's like, just because you fell for Sue, that I had the gall to basically ask the first if you had nerve to. Okay. Also, he's being attacked. He also was attacked by freaking Iron Man. We also have Captain America here. You're probably thinking, why the heck would Iron Man be working for Tevlar? Well, let me show you what this guy looks like. Oh boy. When you see this guy, you're probably like, okay. You're probably thinking, wait, that suit looks familiar. Like if you read the 90s version of these characters. Yes. Like, here's even one for you. Like, let me show you what this guy looks like here. We also have Hawkeye. You're probably thinking, that's Hawkeye. What the heck is up with his suit? Why does his suit look so weird? Yes, and there is more. There's also apparently the Vision here, who he's taking captive Franklin Storm. Bentley is with his father, the Wizard. Yeah, he's a clone of his. He's one of his 13 clones. Yep. Oh yeah, and here's something you might find interesting. Okay. Look, here's the Quiet Man with his disfigured face because he's obsessed with Sue Storm. That his obsession with Sue Storm was the reason why he caused all this. Yep. And look, we also have Wonder Man, and here's Thor. And there's one other guy I want to show you here. Look, here's Captain America. You were thinking, wait, what the heck is up with the eagle symbol? Where's the A? Okay, you want an explanation for who the heck these guys are. These are the Avengers from the Heroes Reborn universe. Yes, the very universe that Franklin Richards created. Yeah, that created Ultimate version. These guys, also the Fantastic Four. Yep. So James Robinson plucked these guys out. Like, wow, that's something. And then we also have at the end of the book, we also have Namor fighting these people, along with like the Thing is basically getting a little bit of punching against these other Avengers. And the thing ends with to be continued with feature the all new Invaders, which is awesome. Yeah, this book is great. I'm loving this. People are thinking, what the heck are the Heroes Reborn? And what is James Robinson's history? Like, did James Robinson create the Heroes Reborn Avengers? No, that was Rob Liefeld and Jim Valentino. He did work on the book. Yes, he worked on the final issue of the book, so he has experience writing these characters. Well, excuse me. He was the second writer for Captain America and Heroes Reborn. Now, yes, he was second writer for, he wrote the second half of that run. Yes. For you don't know what Heroes Reborn is, it is pretty much basically Marvel. I'll basically explain it's the comic history. It's quite interesting basically to talk about this particular strange universe and how really bizarre the costumes were. And the fact that Marvel decided to hand over 4 books to image creators for just the basically first sales boost. I'll talk about it in the comic history. Now, I wasn't talking about another thing, but I'll get to that. But yeah, this book is great. I love it. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10 because the Heroes Reborn Avengers. I'll be discussing that in my comic history. I was going to discuss something else, but I'm going to push it off because the Heroes Reborn because the Heroes Reborn stuff. Alright, moving on to something else that is Avengers. we have Avengers Forever, written by Kurt Busiek and Roger Stern. Yep. Artwork by Chris Pacillo. Pacillo, yes. Yeah. 12-issue maxi series. Yes, 12 issues. So, and of course you have advertisements for No Surrender, great weekly series, and, well, Final Host by Jason Aaron. Now, this book was released back in, the original issues were released in, well, there's a list here. Let me take a look about that. Let's see. Because it was like, let's see here, because I think it was like, let's find out, shall we? The first issue was released back in October 1998. The final issue of this book was released in October 1999. Yep. Now, this book is kind of, in a way, a love letter to the Avengers franchise. You have the Avengers going through various points of history, running to the Age of Atlas. Yes, the Age of Atlas. Which, that was something else I was explaining in our comic history. Yeah, that would be something else to talk about, that group. Yeah, the group of Avengers from the 50s. We also run into the Western heroes of the Marvel Universe, like Rawhide Kid, Two Gun Kid. I think that's it. Yeah, basically the Western heroes. Basically, it's a bunch of time travel stuff that involves Kang the Conqueror and Immortus. This book is just really good. Yep. Oh, and by the way, this book, The Avengers, is basically clearly the star of this book. The actual star of the book is Rick Jones. Yeah, at one point he runs into a future version of himself where apparently he's lost an arm. Yeah, even he points like, wait, you're me, but you're missing an arm. Do they actually explain how the heck he lost the arm? Well, they suspect because of this massive connection to Captain Marvel. Well, the Jennifer Marvel. Also, yeah, Jennifer Marvel is here along with Songbird, despite the fact she's technically not an Avenger right now. Yeah, she joined the Avengers until like, I think it was like 2015 she finally joined the Avengers. Well, mostly the new Avengers group by Al Ewing. Yeah, and at one point they turned time back in the 60s. Well, that lineup, that was really cool. Yeah, this is pure fun about this particular book. This book has one particular relation that's quite shocking. If you ever read West Coast Avengers, when this group, a robot version of the Zodiac, yeah, there was a group called the Zodiac, and it's revealed in here that one of the Zodiac from the original group actually survived. Libra! And he's got a visor now like Jordy, almost like, it's a symbol, like, it's a futuristic one. Yeah, somehow he survived, and yet this book is his last appearance to date. Yep. But this book is fantastic. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's just so freaking good. Yeah, it's a great love letter. I appreciate Kurt Busiek for doing this. Despite the fact he was also writing the main Avengers book at this point. So, yeah. And of course, he's writing this book alongside the main Avengers book. Yep. So, yeah, that's a particular view. Next one, comic book history. Yep. See you next video. Bye.